One of the things that I really love about this car, and other cars, and like analog cars in general, is their ability to take your mind off of everyday life. Because when you're driving a car like this, like, you really have to drive it. You've got to pay attention to everything that you've got going on. And when you get this car out on an open road, a long stretch, and you hear that V12 sitting at 8,000 RPM, I can assure you that you're not thinking about anything else but enjoying yourself in that moment. And that's hard these days. Not a lot of people live in the moment. I'm guilty of that myself, with my cell phone ringing 24/7 and, responsibilities at work, my family, and everything else that is going on. And when I'm able to take this car out and enjoy it on a day like this, it's just special. My name's Matt Kossoff. This is my 1995 Ferrari F50, and this is the one, the car on the wall, my bucket list car, and something that I always aspired to own. Did I ever think it was realistic? Probably not. But here we are. This car in particular is actually the second one that was ever produced, serial number 002, and is the first one ever produced entirely on the production line in the Ferrari factory, because the first one was more or less a prototype. So Ferrari used this exact car to unveil the F50 to the world at the Frankfurt Auto Show in Germany back in like 94 or 95. And that's really cool because I actually have some pictures of the car at the show. When it comes to the car, it's the epitome of analog perfection, right? So naturally aspirated V12, which was basically straight out of the 1990 Ferrari F1 car. 6-speed manual, no ABS, no power steering. It's just you in the car. And honestly, I think that that's what I love most about it. There's no frills that, are there to distract you from the pure driving enjoyment that this thing delivers, unlike anything else. What makes this car so special is the balance of everything, the power that the engine makes, the vibration through the full carbon tub, the ease of using the gear shift and the clutch. The steering, it's super heavy when you're at low speed, but once you're actually driving, it's perfectly matched for the car. And so I think that this car is when they just really nailed it. It's the sweet spot where all of those things, they just work together in a way unlike anything else, in my opinion, that Ferrari's ever built and never will build again, to create the best driving experience for people who, are passionate about driving analog cars. I grew up in the 90s, and I would always play like Need for Speed on the computer. Top of the totem pole in the game was the Ferrari F50, and so that was always my car, right? I never thought that I would ever actually own one, but it was no secret. Everybody knew that it was like my favorite car. It was the bucket list car. And so when I was a little bit older, I remember being with my family down in Florida, and it's not uncommon to see Ferraris and Lamborghinis and that kind of stuff driving around. And I vividly remember a conversation with my mom where I said, "Mom, one day I'm gonna have a Ferrari." And she told me, "If you can afford it, you can have it." And as simple as that advice sounds, it has always stuck with me. And I think that was like a really big turning point for me, where I realized like nobody was gonna just give me a Ferrari. And I knew that I had to work my butt off. And that's exactly what I did. I found my way into the business that I started when I was a senior in high school. I love mid-90s cars, just the long, swoopy nature of them. I think that this car is just timeless. The tail and the way that it swoops up into the wing, like the long, swoopy nose, it doesn't get any better than that. It's so timeless. And so Jonathan, my good friend over at Merit Partners, he knew that this car was on my bucket list. I knew that if I was gonna buy one, I better strike while the iron is hot. And so by that, I mean, they're only gonna get more expensive and less obtainable for me as time went by. And so in late 2020, I got a call, and he said, "Look, I know it's still not inexpensive, but I think I've got the car for you." I was sitting at my desk in my office, and I think my heart sank knowing that I was about to spend more than enough money, like more money than I should on a car, and that was it. And I've not regretted it once since. My passion for cars is what paved the way to starting my business. And, obviously there's been a lot of things that have happened, a lot of things that I've sacrificed over the last 20 years between point A and point B. But, I think this car represents the culmination of all of that for me. And it's representative of all the hard work and effort that went into being where I am today. And when I get in it and drive it and enjoy it, makes all of this totally worthwhile, except for when things break, which brings me to the side of the road as I am right now. Today we were driving the car and the throttle cable decided it wanted to get a little sticky on us, and well, probably not the best idea to drive it back to town. So currently waiting on a truck, but enjoying the views, enjoying the company, and just hanging out.